What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be working on the E46 supercharger again. We're going to be working on the S.A.P, secondary air pump. I think this little trick is going to help a lot of you guys out. I think you're going to like it. We're actually going to be relocating the secondary air pump. So if you guys have a E36 or E46, you're very familiar with the secondary air pump. Basically feeds fresh air into the exhaust system in the mornings to run better or warm up the cats or something like that. But I've had mine off for a while. When I had the car NA, ran great without it. Just had the check engine light. The car was pretty reliable, never had any problems with it. But now that we're running the supercharger, I want to monitor the engine, so having that check engine light on all the time doesn't work out for me. So I want to put the secondary pump back on and then plug it in, clear everything. Like I was saying, the reason I want to put it back on is because I want to be able to monitor the engine. The light's always on. I want to clear it, so in order to do that I have to put it back on. I know a lot of guys tune out the S.A.P, but this car is running a VF Engineering tune, so I can't really tune it out, I guess. So the best thing to do is just relocate it and kind of tuck it away. So on my car, it's going to be a little bit different than yours. As you guys can see, I did a wire tuck and engine shave a couple years ago on this car, and there's not really any wires here. So the wires for the secondary air pump and everything that goes here is actually within the fender. So we have to pull the fender off also and bring the wires out and extend them. I believe that's the only wires I left in there was that one. So for most people, you're gonna have the secondary air pump sitting here. So you should be able to just take it off and move it somewhere else. Okay, so I decided that sticking it under the bumper, behind the bumper, would be the best location for it. So there's plenty of room back here. I think we're gonna be taking the wheel off and then maybe the bumper off, maybe just the wheel, and then getting this screwed onto the frame. Once it's on the frame, we can just run the hoses. We're gonna put the valve back on there and then just bring a hose down to the secondary air pump and see how that goes. I also have my AC to hook up. I'm not gonna do that today, but I want to get the AC back on because it's been hot out here. And we also got some supplies here. Got these hoses. I got this one here with the bends because we may need the bends there. Be able to cut it how we need it. This one, long one right here with one bend on it, should work for us. It should be plenty of hose. And got this elbow. Had this already. A couple clamps. And then I also got my soldering tool. We're gonna need that so we can extend the wire for the secondary air pump. I got my wire here, actually had it off for a while. Have saved it when I took it off the car, and we extended it. So now it's pretty much ready to go down by the bumper. So whether you're removing yours or relocating it, this is the valve that sits there. 2 bolts. I have a block off plate on mine right now, but we're gonna be putting this back on, so unfortunately this will pretty much be the only thing you can see. It'll be right there, and then we're gonna run this hose down in there and should be pretty hidden away. I'm also gonna get this cleaned up and make it look like new. So let's roll the car out and then jack it up and get it going. now in order to get the fender off, we got a couple of screws here all along the fender. I believe there's one inside the door. We got to pull open the door and then get to that one. And I want to say there's a couple under the bumper here. Haven't taken the fender off in a while, but alright guys, so I got the fender off. It was a little bit of a hassle getting a couple bolts back here. There's two bolts, one goes there, one goes down here, and then one in here inside the fender well. And finally got it off. Here's my loom and everything that I extended. I brought out to the headlights down here. So what I gotta do is open it up and find out where I left off on the wire, and then just extend it from there to wherever we're taking it. Let me okay guys, so here's all the wires that I extended when I did the wire tuck, so they run outside the fender here. I opened them up. Sure enough, here's the one I left for the secondary rear pump. Capped it off, so now we're gonna go ahead and strip it open and splice up the new one, extend it down to where we're putting the pump, and then the brown one we'll just cut and ground up in the front of the chassis closer to the pump. So let me get guys, so now I took the brackets off of the secondary air pump. The way I see we can mount this is basically there's already a hole here. We're either going to try to grab that one and just drill another one on the side over there, but we're hitting back here in the corner, so I may just shift it over here and just drill two new holes, and that should give us the clearance we need, and then we'll try to fit the pump on there. What I decided to do was grind off the back here a little bit. As you can see, I cut that corner off so we can clear that plastic back there and use the same existing hole right here, drill one there. So let me get that drilled out. Okay, now we got those two holes drilled out, two bolts right there. The next thing we're going to drill out is this bracket here. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that bolt there. We're going to set this out as far as we can right there where we can get a nut and a bolt on, and that'll give us the space we need here from the frame rail, and that should give us plenty of clearance without hitting the frame right there. Let me drill it out and put now we got our brackets mounted. Got the two screws in there in the frame. We drilled the hole here for the bolt that's going to be sliding over to here, and we're no longer going to be using this one for now. We are going to add a bracket down there to support it so it doesn't move, but it's pretty sturdy right now. But that's something we'll be doing a little later. Let's get it on there first. Now I got the valve cleaned up, and I'm gonna shoot it with a little bit of black paint, a little texture on it, and then get it installed on the car. There it is guys. So if you just take your time, a couple minutes, a little bit of tape and a little bit of paint. This one here I used that textured black, looks really good. Make this piece look like brand new. Polished up the top a little bit. Also got the gasket on with a little bit of silicone. You don't need too much because that stuff smears out. So we just got to get it installed and then tighten down. Go from there. Alright guys, so I decided to go with the long hose here. This one's should work perfect because the elbow here will go onto the secondary air pump right here. It's already mounted on there, so we'll just 90 up here, loop it around, and pretty much come up here. I want to grab it maybe from here and then just a straight shot to it. So let me show you how that's going to look. Like I said, we'll shoot it up to there. That'll be a straight shot once it gets trimmed down there. First thing is going to be trimming this elbow though. You can see this is a bit too long, so I want to cut it down maybe about halfway, and then that way we can just have it come in a little shorter and not be sticking out so far out. Okay everybody, so now we got the valve installed, got the hose on, got the clamp on, ran it down here, looped it around. It already has that nice bend on it. We just trimmed it a little bit, added the clamp there. That's secure. We're gonna end up adding one more bolt, the little bracket from here maybe to somewhere around here, maybe use that hole, but I don't think so. Maybe just have to drill a hole here just to add an extra support, even though this is not going nowhere. It's super hard. So the next thing is we're gonna be taking that wire, routing it through the top right there. We're gonna open up the loom, run it through the inside, tape it all back up, heat shrink it to the wire. Once that's all done, we're pretty much done with the electrical. We can get the fender back on. Over here, we're gonna get the hose hooked up to the valve that's behind the intake manifold that controls it. I'm gonna get a stainless steel hard line here and run it through here. That way it won't melt into the headers or anything. And we'll just have a little hose here from the line, and that should be pretty good. Get the fender back on, the wheel back on, and we'll be able to finally test this thing. So we got our wire here loomed up from the plug all the way up. Now we're gonna splice it in along this one here, then solder it. Then we'll get the loom back on and test it out. Ground's gonna go right there where all the grounds are gonna be. So now we got the wires soldered on. We extended it, putting the loom back on. We'll get this secured, get the wheel back on, and that's probably gonna be it for today. Tomorrow we're gonna continue. We're gonna get the vacuum line hooked up, get this just buttoned up, get the fender back on. Last stretch of the day, we got the harness put back together, taped it up the professional way, no cutting corners around here. Angel's over here putting the wheel back on. We're about to drop it, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. We also want to thank all the backup team. They're always in the background. You guys seen them here and there. They're always there to help us out. Got my baby mama and her best friend, Mr. Blue here. Little Mary Jane over there with the one and only Angel the engineer. Welcome back everybody. Today is day 2 of the secondary air pump relocation. All we got left now is this vacuum line. I was gonna run this one, but since it gets hot here, I went to AutoZone and I picked up this stainless steel braided one. I was gonna run that from here through the back, through the normal location. And here I got my switch, which I had removed at a while back. We're gonna put the switch back on, plug it. So there it is guys, the vacuum line is plugged in. Looks really good. Brings out the engine a little bit better. So now let's just get it hooked up with the switch back there. Guys, so we got the vacuum hose hooked up to the check valve, and we got the check valve hooked up to the switch. And this line pulls vacuum from the manifold, so we got that hooked up to the manifold, plugged in. It should be ready to go. We'll get everything buttoned back up, put the fender on, and we'll be test driving it. Okay guys, so we cleared the check engine light. We're gonna start it up now, and if it tries to turn on the secondary air pump and it's not connected, it'll give us a check engine light, but this should be good. I don't think we're gonna have the light no more. So now we just gotta go drive this car around, make sure everything's good. Looks pretty good guys. I guess this is gonna be a wrap. No check engine light. If you guys like the video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Catch you guys on the next one. Thank you. Bye.